on your lead side. You gotta be able to put the bow down.
You hit it.
I mean, I think you gotta have runway.
Sometimes you create your hole just by the last 15 seconds just going upwind.
Right.
Don't dive into the hole you create.
Right, exactly.
These, if you do that with these plates, you just kind of
slide sideways.
Yeah, I agree. I tried today to go up.
Yep. You can't do it.
And I was like shooting away from it.
I agree. It was the thing my takeaway was more than the last regatta is you gotta have, like, I think almost even more than the favorite end. If you have runway and you get the thing gripping, you just get going, and if you have to, you just tack. Like, it's almost quicker than fighting for a hole, and these guys just run up on you. It's just a disaster.
Space.
Kind of like, space is pretty important.
Thanks for setting the long line.
That's a big deal.
Very helpful.
Why it is
helpful.
helpful.
You have a tendency to have everybody fight it out and have a short line.
I was almost tempted to go even longer because you guys are probably going to be twice that long.
Right. Well, the thing that was good about it is it got you used to looking at the line sight and actually kind of trying to figure out where the line was, because it's
very important.
Yeah. Eric and I were joking. I was like, man, I can't ping the ends. Like like for me, not being able to do it, because you and I are so used to it. You sail Star J70, you ping in the ends, and you have the little box. It's not that hard. All of a sudden now you get back to old school doing it. It's like, oh man, you need to.
But you're on a lake. There should be.
Right, you got tree on the shore. You got to be able to see the stuff.
Right. Kind of everywhere.
I think that was good. The other thing was interesting. At least I don't know, my feeling is it was funny. Just racing, it felt like it always visually looked like the left was going to be pretty strong, but the right ended up paying every time. Like even in the last race, like I kind of started, we tacked, got a little right. Sean went behind us, he tacked, and I looked over, I was like, oh man, he's ahead.
That's what I thought too.
And all of a sudden, as we were coming across, it was just a slow fade. And it happened to me the first race. Like I was out on the left, I was like, oh, looking good, and he just kind of sagged down.
The top third of it was the header on the left side.
I don't know if it was just that or just the pressure was it was something weird, but the right had something in it. It didn't visually look that way, but it kept coming back to it.
When I tacked, between tacking and ducking Chris, which is almost on the ley line, I dropped 10 degrees.
Yeah, I mean it's also, I kind of had a weird feeling it was a wave situation too.
Yeah.
Like I think these boats are pretty wave sensitive. At the bottom of the course, it's pretty even, but for some reason the waves were different angles. So when you're on starboard and the right, you were kind of getting hit on the side, but when you were on port, you were just straight into it. Whereas down here, the water was flatter. So I think if you're on port, it was a weird. I think there's some wave.
You were saying about hobby horsing with the Star.
I
was actually thinking on that port ley line.
Yes.
There's a couple of times I was going like
I was
this,
doing the same
and I was
thing.
just getting crushed, and I was like trying to find
the race before I had the
sweet
issue.
spot of maybe pressing a little bit and traveler up down.
So many boats where that is really.
I get told by Ted and everything never to do this, but I saw all these guys with the travelers down. Allan had his way down, and we're similar in weight. The main just feels better rather than just banging the crap out. When you bang the crap out of it, I don't know how far the top of it kicks off, but I had the traveler down maybe a foot. You guys had it down almost all the way.
I was all the way at one point. And I had all the...
I was just like, I want the hiking strap.
Yeah.
It's all about heel angle, right? You can't put the heel down.
The only time I got tempted to put the traveler down is when I started hobby horsing.
Yeah.
Stopped hobby horsing.
Yeah, when I felt like it was
Anything
hobby
you
horsing
can do
when I
to
went
stop
traveler down.
anything you can do to stop the hobby horsing.
Yeah,
is
I agree.
Good. Sometimes you got to come up a little bit, or sometimes you got to heel it over more than you think,
and a little bit more
through it, and you might make more leeway. But
when I was hobby horsing, I felt like the boat did better when it was flat, like flatter than normal.
Could be.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the race better.
I don't know. It just felt
That's
like
why I say
sometimes
sometimes
you had to do.
Sometimes you might be flatter, and sometimes you might be more over heel too. If you got to over heel and you don't pound, well, you're gonna make a little more leeway. But if you don't pound, at least you keep the speed. And bearing is very important. We love to keep the height.
The other thing that was good for me today, and I know it seems kind of very basic, is when we were doing those starting drills and you said do a race tack.
Yeah.
It was good for me just to kind of really, because you don't really think about it, just to see what the angles were, right? And then just how it kind of, like how you fit in. Because these races are pretty, how do you put it? There's like a pattern, right? Everybody comes, the header comes, everyone kind of tacks in unison, and then you either fall out of the front row, and then they go the next shift, and then the whole front row tacks again, and somebody eventually falls out, and they get to the next thing, they tack again, and then by the time you get to the mark, the first 4 guys in the row were the first 4, and everyone else kind of fell back. So it was kind of good to see that. I don't know, it was good
I'll
for
often
me.
do on a day like today, start to leeward, and in total control of the race, but I'm always thinking, can I cross, and I'll just tack, and hopefully I'm not crossing figure out when I can tack and just cross, because maybe that's the whole race, right? You start and you get a lefty, and you got to go, and you get across, and that's the last lefty there is. Then it's all right. So you never see those guys again. But if you're pinned out there, then you're on the backside, and
that's it.
Like,
Right.
oh my God.
100%. So I think just from a training